We must stop the terror. Now watch this drive.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Welcome. It's been a while. I understand that. My apologies. We are back. Upcoming stand-up dates. Let's get into it. October 30th, we are... Oh, no, that's already over. Never mind. November 2nd, Calgary, Alberta. November 7th, Lethbridge, Alberta. Daddy's heading home, just outside of Taber. November 8th, Medicine Hat, Alberta. November 23rd, we're in Dallas, Texas. November 20... Actually, we are with Alex Stein, primetime Alex Stein, Pimp on a Blimp. Get at me, son. November 29th, Fort Worth, Texas. December 5th, we are... that has been switched to December 7th. We are in Red Deer. December 6th, we are in Olds. January 10th, in Hinton, Alberta. Drumheller, January 17th. January 23rd, just added, Athabasca, Alberta. January 24th, Whitecourt, Alberta, just added today. We're finally making it out to Thunder Bay, Ontario, February 7th. Different club, different people running the show, so it will happen this time. We have left the other gentlemen in the past. February 28th, we're heading out to Pictou, I don't know how you say it. Who cares? Who gives a shit? We're going to Nova Scotia. March 7th, back to Selkirk, Manitoba. March 13th, Windsor, Ontario. April 17th and 18th in Kelowna. Just your boy headlining Dakota's. It is what it is. We does what we do. Special, before we get into it, special thank you. We have a gift. I don't want the reflection. There we go. How do I get it? Can you kind of see it there? There we go. This is a cross stitch done by someone very dear to the show. I don't want the reflection. We're getting reflection. But anyway, a cross stitch. I think it was somewhere around, I can't remember the total time. Is it written on the back here? But it was something that was... days, weeks of work, 700 hours, over 700 hours put into this cross stitch of the three musty queers right here. How about that? Thank you, Jessica. Fan of the show, fan of the boys. She had made that and presented it to us at the Last Danger Room here in Edmonton. I've been flying by the seam of my pants here. Trying to get a podcast out, but it has been a grueling. But I just want a special thank you to her. I just haven't had time to hang it up here. We're gonna be doing some stuff here now that I got a little downtime. We're gonna remodel a little bit. It's time to make this feel like something. You know what I mean? It's gotta have a vibe in here. Oh, this guy's got a couple skateboards on the wall. Oh, what's that? A George Carlin album over his right shoulder. And then we got a fucking Richard Pryor, a couple of masks from African tribe. This guy's cultural. What a set. A bookshelf. Collecting dust. Wow, this guy must be very well read, very well versed. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? But anyways, thank you very much, Jessica. It's very kind. The artwork and the time and tedious detail put into this piece is just tremendous, and I truly appreciate it. I'm very excited to put it up on the wall. I'm going to have to figure out a way to make it so it's not reflective. Might have to drop the plastic in front, so it's exposing the art to the elements now here inside this disgusting studio with 3,000 fucking people listening to this live studio audience. Largest podcast from Taber, Alberta. What do you want from me, huh? I'm doing it in the big leagues. Suck me sideways. Very, very cool stuff. I thoroughly enjoy that. Now, we haven't done this in a minute. We do have some hate mail, okay? We do have some hate mail, and we're going to start the show with that. I won't put the email on the screen just to save people from seeing your your email, but I will read them out. You can send me hate mail or whatever. I know we were calling it hate mail in a while. Let's just call it since Canada's Post is on strike, I'm taking over. We got DCCP, Danger Cats, Coastal Postal, something. Who knows? We're riffing. We're having fun. Anyways, email me, Uncle Hack at dangercats.tv if you would like. I prefer voice notes. If you take a voice note and email it to me, we'll play it on the show, the beginning of the show, and then we'll kick things off the right way. But anyways, we'll just say this guy's Kressler, and the subject line is, "Who the hell do you think you are?" Question mark, question mark, question mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Three for three, okay? And the body of the email reads, "Hey there, Mr. Uncle. I just want to say that you are the most disgusting, unhinged, misogynistic, racist, transphobic, oil-supporting, climate change-denying, immigrant-hating, Alberta separatist piece of right-wing conservative shit. In other words, I appreciate your patriotism and God bless your beautiful heart. Oh, and FYI, Dick Frost is still denying that he's a hater of the colored community." Oh, my. I'm glad we were able to expose him on that TikTok live and show the world what a fake POS he actually is. Anyways, keep a tight one, and we'll see you in Fernie. I'm bringing a busload of non-binary, liberal, transvestite Muslims with me. But don't worry, I'll make sure they are all wearing their Tim Hortons outfits. Rock fingers, Kressler. Thank you very much for those kind words and emailing the show. We really appreciate those that reach out and want to be a part of this, be a part of the production, be a part of the community that the Uncle Hat podcast produces. And with that being said, let's discuss it. Where have I been? What have I been doing? Okay, we've been here, there, everywhere. Fucking north, south, east, west, you name it. The travel schedule that well, you heard the dates of the previous podcast that I've posted. It was, you're in Toronto, Albuquerque, then back in Edmonton, back down to Toronto, and it's all over the map. It was a very grueling travel process. Is that the right way to say it? I don't know. But it was the travel involved of this past month was something I've never endured before, okay? And I know, it's like, oh, well, all you're doing is going and tell jokes. Yeah, well, you're sitting in a crew truck right now with your thumb up your ass trying to make it seem like we're all working hard. Okay, I've been there. I've done that. I know the whole hurry up and wait horse shit that that all of us oil patch guys, we all want to. Here's the problem, okay? This is the problem, and I don't like dishonesty. This is my issue with the oil patch community is, when there's what now, like back in the day, yes, you are trying to embody 80s, 90s oil patch culture in 2025 when we all know that doesn't exist. The paperwork involved slows down the workday. You have meetings after meetings after meetings and nothing gets done. Right? It's a very slow, grueling process, and it's all due to the pile of paperwork that is involved to just put a bolt in. So before you come down my throat, and I mean that in a derogatory way, I'm talking full blast down the throat, coat me up, Pepto-Bismol commercial, okay? I'm shitting white. That's how much, all right? Before you decide to come at me over like, oh, well, all you do is just hop on an airplane and just show up and perform for people. Okay, yeah, I get it. But don't act, okay? Don't sit here and pull out your little pistol, your little BB gun, and think that we aren't going to have a duel over this, all right? I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you. All right? That's the problem. This is the problem with blue-collar guys. Is everybody wants to act like they work hard. There now some jobs and they do come with breaking your back, but you want to know what those people are? Laborers. All right, because if you educate yourself inside the trade that you are currently working in, you eventually get to a spot where you get to yell at people and they do all the grunt work. Okay? And the people doing grunt work with smiles on their faces are too stupid to realize that the world is going to shit. You know what I mean? The people complaining are doing the least amount of work on the site, you know? Anybody coming at you and complaining, you ask, what is your trade and what are you in that trade? Oh, I'm a fucking journeyman mechanic, man. Oh, really? Oh, really? But then you look over at the dumbass that sweeps the shop and has to carry around transmissions out to the scrapyard. What's he doing? He's smiling ear to ear. Why? He's too dumb to realize that the world is burning around him. And that's why all of us come here and we gather and we bitch together. Okay? So now that I've cleared the air there, can I continue? Thank you. Anyways, yes, very grueling travel that took place, but it was very enjoyable. It is part of this grind, and I know it's probably aging me, and I can feel it in my body, you know? I can feel it in my body. I got a little sick this week, which is never fun. Airports are never fun. If you're traveling for work, you know what I mean. It's never fun. I flew Flair Airlines, and for those down in America, that is equivalent to like a Spirit up here. It's a budget airline, and my God, you want to watch destruction. You want to see where the state of the nation is in terms of like class, I guess economic classes. Is you go fly a budget airline and see how well the people that are using a budget airline, like let's call that's probably like lower middle class, just like right around there, lower middle class and below. Those that are on the poverty line and need to get somewhere for like a funeral or something. So you pack lightly, you get your carry-on, you pay the $70 to fly on a budget airline, right? And you want to see where we are as a nation, you go fly that. All right. And it ain't good. It's not good. I'm telling you right now, I'm experiencing this. I've experienced this now 3 weekends in the past month and a half. And I'm telling you, the lower class, they're getting pretty ornery out there. There's a lot of entitlement that comes with, I don't know what it is. You think that just because you're on an airplane now, all of a sudden you went up a class. It's like if, it's similar to like if a redneck, trailer park trash somehow upgrades their vehicle. Instead of driving a 2008, now they got like a 2016, and now they walk around with a little bit of swagger, right? And they look down upon you. And it's like, you need to sit your ass down. And like, these are the people, too, that just drive me nuts. Like, they don't understand the basic human decency that comes with, like, offloading an airplane. Okay? Like, and I know, like, the privilege of being able to complain about flying. Fuck off. I'm talking about this is a representation of how the country is operating right now. The entitlement of most people that are walking around this country, walking around this nation, has exceeded where they are at in their personal lives, okay? Some folks now believe that they are much more than what they actually are and what they offer to the world, okay? And here's how I know. Is because when you board a budget airline, okay? We all know the process. You book your ticket. Some airlines offer you to pick their seat because you know what? You've already paid enough, and if you want to pay an extra, you can pick your seat or we just give you one, right? And depending on what you purchased prior, if you purchased a ticket with carry-on luggage, or you purchased a ticket where you have to check a bag, sometimes there's perks that come with that, correct? Correct. Thank you. We're all together now. We're all in this together. 2 weeks to flatten the airlines. Anyways, moving on. Now, when you're deboarding it, right? Usually the first row goes, then the second row, and everybody, there's always a few assholes that decide to just shoot up out of their seat and run to the front of the fucking plane. And I wish nothing but the worst for you people. I do. I hope your baggage, if you checked the bag, I hope it got lost. I hope everything that comes with difficulties in the airport hit you. I hope when you when you rush to go take a piss because you don't want to pee on the plane because, I don't know, maybe fear of flying, whatever it may be. I hope when you go to sit down to take a shit that somebody pissed on the toilet seat and you have to feel the cold piss hit your ass. That's what I wish upon you. People just clogging up the aisles. Go sit your fat ass down. Enough with it. I've had enough. And then on top of it, you bring in the Blue Jays. Now we got the Blue Jays. They're in the. We're dealing with. Okay, enough of that. We are dealing with now, folks, having this false sense of unity in the country, and it is great to see the only Canadian team in the World Series up 3-2 right now, and it would be silly as a Canadian not to maybe have some sense of nationalism behind it, or like some sort of unity with the nation. But the fact that it's taking a baseball team to do it, it just hurts my feelings. This country is known. First off, the team is filled with Puerto Ricans and Americans, right? Puerto Ricans, Colombians, and Americans on the team, and we're all clapping like seals, like dumbasses, packing the stands. And then we have J.P. Sachs, okay, butchering the Canadian national anthem and making us all look like fools. Making us all look like fools. We're going to bring that up. So we have this young Canadian artist from Toronto. Morale in the nation is already in the shitter. I think we can all agree with that. I don't think there's a single living Canadian right now that could look me in the eyes and tell me, no, everything's going perfectly fine. I'm having a wonderful time here. No, the groceries are out of fucking control. Yeah, we got the mainstream media just pumping our heads full of shit. And I know some people complain that when they listen to this show, it's like, you come here to listen to me, bitch. Okay? I wish you would talk about some pour a whiskey and fucking shut your fucking mouth. I don't need to hear any of that right now. I don't need fuck, bud, why don't you shut your fucking mouth? I don't want to listen to your horse shit. You don't want to listen to my horse shit. It comes with turning it off. Turn it off. Then we got this twink that comes out and sings the wrong words to the everybody's just changing however they want to sing the national anthem. Go at it. I dare you as an American try that out. I dare you as an American. You would be hung. You would be hung. Your career would be over. But in Canada, for some reason, we're such twinks that we bend over, we spread our cheeks, and we spit on our own hole and look back and say, fuck me, daddy. For some goddamn reason, we do that. And then this fucking dork, remember we covered him already? We covered this guy already because he was like, he couldn't sell enough tickets, so he had to cancel his tour. And then like us as a nation, just a perfect representation on where we are, right? How are we doing? Oh, we hired, we got the guy who couldn't sell enough tickets to sing the national anthem. We have plenty of Canadian celebrities that could have stepped to the plate and done this, but no. Let's get this dork. Let's get this dipshit. Just to make matters worse, here was your time to unite the nation. You want to make a political stance? You want to garner a brand new fan base that would show up for you? I would say go the opposite way. Instead of changing the lyrics to what you think they should be, go back to the original, not even the original. Actually, yeah, go back to the original version. Go back to version 1 and sing that. You would have fans overnight celebrating you, but you just can't, can you? You just can't. Hey, don't worry about it. I got this. I know it's going to bring the nation back to its feet. I'm going to stand here. And then it cuts to some woman in the crowd, and she's just mortified. Like, God, when we couldn't get any gayer. Just when we couldn't get any gayer. Right now, we got Trudeau, after 9 years, 10 years, whatever it was, put us in an abusive relationship and just sunk this place into the fucking ground, right? Immigration's out of control. Healthcare's taking a hit. Christ, the kids just got back to school. Actually, are just going to school now here in Alberta. The teachers are asking for smaller classrooms. Oh, the best we can do is, and it's like, oh my God, what are we doing around here? When does it end? When does it fucking end? And then if we drag out this asshole, World Series, I think this was, what game would this have been? What game would this have been? Was it the one where they tied? No. It is where the Dodgers went up 2-1. Correct. That is right. Game 3. This dickweed steps up and was like, hey, I'm an artist, man. I'm an artist. I'm tired of these fucking people, man. I'm tired of it. And I know. This is the time to try and unite the country. And right now we're trying to rally behind a fucking baseball team. And you decide to step to the plate. Hey, how's that? And deliver what I would consider torture to my ears. We're all going to listen to this together, folks. Here we go.
Oh, Canada.
The mic pull. The mic pull. Oh, can it? You drop the mic like, yeah, I just hit that. We got to stop. Okay, anybody over the age of 35, there's no more perms happening. No more permed mullets, all right? We have lost our relevance as millennials, and we got to just accept that. We have to accept the fact that millennials, we are not cool anymore, and we do not dictate the culture coming up, all right? When we were younger, who did we look up to? 23, 24-year-old artists. We can't be looking at 34-year-olds. If you're over the age of 30, hang it up. Your influence is gone, okay? Nobody's looking at you and thinking, yeah, that's sick. You're a trendsetter. When you're 34 years old and you're following the trends of a 20-year-old who's perming his hair and doing the mullet thing, it's enough. It's over. You now are weird to me anyways. And, like this is my... I just think there's something odd about that where you're always trying to capture your youth. And I get it. If you're like 30 and you're looking back and you're like, oh my God, my 20s are ending, and you're panicking a little bit and you're trying to, cram in a little bit more. You just want to squeeze out the last bit of like what coolness you could have possibly had. What relevance or maybe some sort of impact you could have on the culture. And that's going for like artists or musicians, these social media guys, all of that, but there is going to come a time where you're not cool anymore. You're not cool, especially when you're following the trends of the 22-year-olds to still be relevant in that crowd, right? And now you have an opportunity to really you could have garnered a fan base. Like I said, you could have garnered a fan base. You could have delivered a national anthem that we could all have been proud of. But no, what do? You go and sing this right here.
Our home, our native land.
Wow. You did it. You fixed the problem. Thank you, JP Sachs. You fixed the problem. We've all been sitting around here wondering, when is the problem going to get fixed? When is the problem going to be fixed? And then all it took was some fucking singer from goddamn Los Angeles who originally from Toronto to go on the screen of the World Series singing the national anthem. And now all of a sudden the Indigenous are like, oh, wow, that's all we needed. That's all we needed. Oh, wash your hands clean. Move along, folks. Problem solved. JP Sachs dusted off his fucking career, decided to come out and sling a national anthem for us, and now all the problems are solved here. Our home on native land. Oh, nice. That's like a land acknowledgement times 10. Just being like, yeah, well, it is our home, and it's on your land. Are we giving it back? I don't think so. I think the libs are more grotesque when it comes to that and like presenting all these great grandioso ideas. It's like this self-righteous patting one another on the back, like, yeah, we really did it today. We're going to do truth and reconciliation. We're going to, we're going to tell you increments of the truth, right? And we're going to allow you to say whatever the fuck you want. We'll take it on the chin. Meanwhile, we're not really going to do anything about it. In fact, what we're going to do is create these committees that we're going to allocate thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to, so that way we can justify a new position to put our friends in. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Isn't that show we care? Millions of dollars being trickled into this just to have a nice little round table to talk about, what happened on these lands was very bad. And if you think that was bad back then, God forbid, don't open up your window if you're going downtown. If you're traveling to Toronto for the lovely baseball game, we highly recommend staying off the transit system. And then what was it? The poo? The what was that transit fucking? I know they used the acronym POO on it. It was like Patrol Operating Officer or something. I don't know. But to get everybody, make you feel a little more safe on that LRT, the TTC heading to the ball game. God forbid. You don't want to slip and piss, do you? No. So we're doing our best to make sure everybody pays to get on the transit line. Huh? That's what we're doing. And we're going to call it POO. And the fucking funniest thing that they did was hire a bunch of Indian people to be the security. And that's, you look at me and you call me a racist, but yet then these bureaucracies do some shit like that. And I'm supposed to just sit here and just what? Isn't nobody else going to say anything? Do we just look at one another? Or is nobody else going to say anything here? Nobody else is going to bring this up? This is hilarious. This is hilarious. You have attempted to be so woke. Our home on native land. JP Sachs just solved it all. Thanks to him. God forbid. I cannot wait till you announce your next tour and it's sold out. Well done, young man. Well done. How old is this Goomba? JP Sachs. Let's get to know JP Sachs together. He's 32 years old. What did I tell you? Once you hit the age of 32, folks, it's time to wrap it up. It's time to give up. You need to just, like I'm 34. Do I think that I have any relevance over the youth? No, I don't at all. I don't think so one bit. Maybe like 8 years ago when I initially started Danger Cats, there was probably like, because there was a rebellious spirit, but I can't be 34 years old running around town smashing beers over my head and be like, look how cool I am. You look at that guy like a fucking loser. That's what you do. You do. At some point, you have to grow up. Have I mentally? Probably not. In fact, I'm still probably immature in the head, but I'm just I've realized that the optics of a middle, almost 35-year-old guy running around town smashing beers off his head, being like strippers and chew and lip dinner. That was funny when I was like 26, 27. It's almost 10 years ago. Isn't that crazy? Almost 10 years ago, running around doing that sort of nonsense. But then once you cross that bridge and you look back and it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's a little cringeworthy. I'm not running around here trying to get like permed hair and stay relevant and cool by wearing the trendiest clothes that the 20-year-olds are. If you see me doing that, I just want you to know that something's wrong, something's off. Beat me with a bat. I've been electrocuted by the government, and I'm now probably... I'm not going to say that word. I'm not going to say that word. I'm not. Let's just say I would be invited to Epstein Island, okay? If I'm trying to fit in with the young people, I want nothing to do with you. I don't even want to be around you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear what cool things are in your world. I don't need to know that. I don't want to know that. I'm good where I'm at. I am fine, and I have accepted the fact that I am not going to be cool inside of the circles of youth. I'm okay with that. I am A-okay with that. I'm fine with that. And you should be too. Halloween. Again, Halloween. Here's another one, But here's the positive about this time of year. I think this is the perfect time where we can express ourselves a little bit. And I know it's kind of gay to say that, but it's good because right now in the workforce, in the work environments, they're suppressing any sort of like, expression, whether it's with your clothes or whatever it may be. And I know we get upset because Julie came in with a pride flag pin, but if I put on a Canada flag, and I know, I wear a Canada flag pin and I'm a racist. Like the hypocrisy is a little off, and I get that. Instead of then everybody starts complaining, and then there's no more pins allowed in the office, right? So you don't get to express yourself, and they've even removed that with words. You got to be very, very careful with the words that you use, right? So the majority of your days in your life is going to be spent in a work environment, unfortunately, for most of us, right? And Halloween becomes a good time where I believe anyways that you can potentially find your future love. I know. Oh, Hack, what is going on here? What the hell is going on here, Hack? What are you talking about? Well, what I'm trying to say is, it's like now this is a time where you can express yourself, what you find interesting or what you find funny, or like, some girls who basically want to wear as little as they possibly can, where just a tiny little strip of thread covers their asshole. Other girls go the other way and have a hilarious costume. Some put a lot of effort into it, like you can see that. And that's kind of like a little bit of a look into their personality and who they are as a person without ever having to talk to them, right? Like you can scroll Instagram and try and guess what this person is like. But then when you see their Halloween costume, and this goes for men as well, like you see, the simple answer for most women is just like, how slutty can I look with the least amount of effort? Which that, wow, you did it. Yeah, are we applauding? Are we happy with that? That Jessica was able to make a slutty koala costume. Wow, this is so cool. You did it. But then you'll get like a lady that'll go above and beyond and do like a Mrs. Doubtfire, which is hilarious, and then they get into character over it. Or you see like there'll be like Michael Scott or a Hulk Hogan, and just like will not break character, and I respect that. Dudes, on the other hand, is like, oh, if I'm muscular, bro, I'm gonna be a Chippendale and have fucking bow around my neck and just act like fucking, funny guys. Usually, dudes, dudes are gonna lean to funny, and they're just like, oh, this is a perfect day to get hammered, and I get to play fucking dress up. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a mobster. I'm gonna be the minimal effort. And then you see guys that go above and beyond, and they make some pretty crazy shit. It is a little bit of a look-see into that person's like character, their personality. So this is a perfect time, I think, to look for love. I think this is a wonderful time for you as an individual to look for love. That's what I think. I truly do. I think that this is a great time for you, if you're a single person, to go out and just take a little look-see. Just go a little shopping. Maybe you find love. Maybe you don't. But you won't know unless you step foot outdoors. Am I right, folks, or am I right? Anyways, I was watching this documentary last night, speaking of love, and I found this quite interesting. Now, this could have been a thought that most people have, and I think that, most of us will agree with what I'm about to say to some regard. I think, anyways. But I was watching this. This lady did a documentary of one of the oldest chicken ranches in Nevada, and if you don't know what that is, it's a brothel, bordello. And there was a specific hooker, prostitute, whatever, that they really zeroed in on, and she was an elder woman. I think she was in her like late 50s, early 60s. I can't quite remember, but definitely, she was an older lady of the trade, and there was a specific moment where one of her clients, right, made a comment as they were interviewing, and he was like, I didn't perform that well. And she just looked over and was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. We both had fun and all this, and just kind of reassured him. And you kind of seen like this smile took over this man's face, as if he's watching his his firstborn son hit a home run in T-ball, you know? Like there's a happiness that comes with that, with being reassured. And I believe that most men don't get to experience that. And that is what I think that once you hit that age, that's what you're paying for. You know, you've been married. This guy kind of was talking about it. He's like, I've been married. And then we just stopped having sex. So I'd come down here. And then she passed away from cancer. And you hear that and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, buddy. So your old lady was dying of cancer. And you're like, I'm going to go down to the Legion tonight, have a few beers with the boys. You need anything? And then just go unplugging some fucking hooker? Holy hell, buddy. You are a mad lad. You are out of control. And he's like, yeah, we just stopped having sex. And then I just come down here and this is what I get. And then I go on with my life. And that kind of makes sense to me. You know? Because we all know people like that, you know, you just see them. They're basically just glorified roommates. I've been in a relationship like that. You're just glorified roommates. You argue, you fight. It's fucking just, you know, every day you just scratch your head and you're like, fuck, this is just, you just kind of accept it, right? You're just like, oh, this is just how it's supposed to be. Well, yeah, my dad fought with his wife and his dad fought with his wife. And then my fucking over here, but they just like, you know, and you just accept your reality. and then you get this feeling of reassurance. There's this comfort that comes with it. And this old broad knew what she was doing. They're not paying for the sex. They think that they're paying for the sex. That's how good she was at her job. And I'm applauding sex work right now. And I don't care if you disagree. But that's how good she was at her job. She didn't care. Like, in that guy's mind, okay, in his mind, it was about the sex. And he didn't even realize that. He still didn't realize that when he left, because you could tell there was a look of confusion and he just smiled and he was just kind of like, yeah, okay. You know, it's just like, guy shit, you know, guy shit. Oh, I spilled a beer in the garage, you know, or like something that would warrant a minor reaction, where in most cases when you're annoyed with your partner, it's an explosion, right? Oh, you left a bowl in the fucking kitchen sink. I thought you were going to do the dishes. You know what I mean? Just like a minor infraction that then implodes into this war that takes place inside the household. And you're just like, fuck me. And then all of a sudden I'm watching this guy and I'm laughing to myself. I'm thinking like, that is exactly what you pay for right there. That's what you're paying for. It's just a little bit of, oh, don't worry about it, sugar. It's all right. It happens sometimes. And you're like, you know what I mean? Like, is this a trick? You're tricking me right now. Because that's how fucked up we are. Even myself, you know, I probably, you think about these things, right? And I'm watching this unfold before my eyes. And I started laughing. And it was like, there it is. That's it. That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes. Ladies that are listening to this, I don't think you understand how easy it is to manipulate us. You know, I don't think you understand. If you showed an ounce of kindness, if you were just a cold-hearted woman and you decide like, hey, maybe this one, switch up, try something new. You know, if things are stale, even as a guy, if it's very cold and like, you know, you feel like you're walking on eggshells in your relationship, you know, there is like maybe trying kindness, genuine kindness might shape something else. Because that was exactly what that was. And I believe that this guy thought that he was in his mind, you know, this is me analyzing it. It's like he needs to throw down some good dick. But meanwhile, this lady could care less about the fucking dick. You know how much dick's being thrown at her? You think yours is special? No. She has a job, and she is fucking good at it. She is there to make you feel the best you can possibly feel. And that, to most dudes, is very unnatural, especially a man similar to her age. I believe he was like, I think he said he was like 65 You know, it was different back then. It was different coming up. There was a different type of love. And now we have it all in, like, we've been convinced that love for men is just like, oh, she's quiet, she cooks meals. Ugh. We're trying to get into this trad wife shit in a modern day, and I just don't think it works. We've poisoned the well by over-sexualizing women, so now, like, we walk around and we just want to beat our dicks. Pornography's never been more accessible than it ever has been. You know, it's everywhere you fucking look. It's in our advertisement. It's in our advertising. You can't walk in the mall without like a woman in a brassiere outside of a Victoria's Secret, and you're staring at that, and it's very jarring when you're a young guy, right? Especially for me, coming up as a teenager, where the internet wasn't specifically in my pocket. You know, I can access a fucking 7-on-1 gangbang where all the or 7-on-2 gangbang where they snowball the cum. You know, it's like very, very jarring stuff. It's very grotesque things that, and then you eventually you get to a point and you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm watching some very terrible things happen before my eyes. I don't even know what is going to make me come. I haven't had sex in 9 months. Am I gonna bust in missionary? Is that how this is gonna be? I'm here. I've been fantasizing in my head about getting fucked in my ass with a strap on while jerked off by 2 lady boys. That's how deep in the rabbit hole I am. And I know that's a very, very shocking thing to say, but some people get to that point. Am I speaking from experience? Dial it back just a little. I've toned down on the pornography. I've toned down on a lot of things, actually. And I don't know how I feel quite yet about it, you know? I don't know how I feel quite yet about it. I'm trying to avoid it as best as I possibly can, but sometimes it's practically impossible. And I think that you can avoid it. It just depends on how you think of it when you see it, you know? I'm trying to change a little bit of like my mindset. I know, like, I come on here, I rant, I rave, I lose my noodle, and I go off, but it's all for the entertainment. It's all entertainment value. And then similar to that, you know, even these rants about looking for love, you know. And speaking of love, I am very happy that our wonderful Prime Minister has found love again. He's found love, and this is what a treat. All right, here we go. What a treat. Katy Perry soft launches her relationship with Justin Trudeau in a milestone post. This is October 29th. Okay. Katy Perry subtly took the step in her relationship with Justin Trudeau on Tuesday, October 28th. She soft launched the former Canadian Prime Minister on her Instagram account while taking a look back at her 41st birthday celebration. Perry and Trudeau took their little relationship public in Paris on Saturday. God. It's news, folks. You know what they're going to try and do? They're going to try and make this Canada's Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce relationship. They're going to attempt to do that because this is how silly and stupid that they are. Okay? This is how silly and stupid that they are, is that they are going to try and make this the relationship that you know, that can be celebrated. You know, you can get to the top. Oh, that's our prime minister. It's something for the libs to celebrate, as if like locking down a pop star who, you know, I believe truthfully deep down inside that Big Trudy, this is something that he's been chasing for quite some time. The theatrical monologues that he would deliver is something like when he's handed a script, he performs. Now, when he improvs, it's not very good. He's not quick on his feet, but that is where a very good actor comes into play. You give them the script. Don't leave any room for him to play, let alone start with it. He's not that guy. He's not going to be that guy. He never was that guy, but now he's in the limelight with it. This is where he wanted to be. This is where he wanted to be. And these two bumping their one brain cell together, it's almost like those witches on Hercules where they pull it out, pass it to the other one. We got an astronaut and a black guy all together. I know. The joke's been fucking played out a number of times. But I was laughing to myself. Could you imagine if he just like decided to paint, hit the paint and he goes, Katie, it's your 41st birthday. We'll do something special for yours. But I don't know when his birthday is. But his birthday is going to be very special. Very special. You imagine Big Trudy gets out the paint one last time and he goes, ride the face. And then he goes, I've always wanted to be with a black woman. And she just leaves a nice racing strip down there. And then her hoo-ha's jet black. And it's just like, ooh, this is kind of cool, isn't it? It's like, I'm the puzzle piece needed for your, or you're the puzzle piece for me. It's a fun little game. I don't know what to call it. The zebra stripe. Anyways, we're riffing. We're having fun. But Perry and the former Canadian Prime Minister proudly put their new relationship out in the open on Saturday, October 25th, as they were spotted headed to a cabaret at Crazy Horse Paris for Perry's 41st birthday. And on Tuesday, October 28th, the hot and cold singer gave fans a better look at her plunging red silk gown as she was behind the scenes, as well as a behind-the-scenes look at the birthday festivities with a subtle cameo from Trudeau. Oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, is there a subtle cameo? Where is the cameo? We want the cameo. Where is the cameo? Where is the cameo? The Emperor. Oh, wow. We want the cameo. Where is the cameo? All right, maybe there isn't one. Anyways. Level 41, she captioned. But this is essentially what this man has been chasing for quite some time, is to be in the limelight, to be in TMZ for, other reasons. Now he gets to date we can be honest around here, whether we like her music or not. This is a international pop star. This is somebody who, has a career and has a talent that is presented to you. You purchase tickets to go watch this woman perform. You're not purchasing any tickets to go and watch Big Trudy do anything. As much as we want to believe that some of these public speakings that he's going to be doing isn't funded by taxpayer dollars, when these ex-politicians start coming around again, and then they'll have these luncheons, or they'll do like a dinner, and it's like $5,000-$6,000 a plate, so that way they can all sit and pretend that they're raising money for some sort of fucking committee. Like we're all, oh, wow, this guy is such a good guy. I can't believe that he would just decimate the economy in the way that he did. Our purchasing power with the Canadian dollar has never been worse. The morale of Canadians has never been lower. We are deeply, deeply pissed off about the immigration policy that he's put in place. And now we have all these assholes that were in his cabinet still in there making these insane remarks. Okay? Making these insane remarks. Like Mark Miller today made probably one of the craziest things I've ever said. But now keep in mind, this is somebody who is in Trudeau's cabinet. All right, this is the legacy that he's left behind. Is a complete disaster. And I know you're still bitching about Trudeau, but no, you can't look at this and then think like this guy's gonna like. The relationship between Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau is going to be Canada's Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Unfortunately, Katy Perry is nowhere near as talented as Taylor Swift. As much as we all hate her music, we can admit that, okay? We can put aside our own personal gripes we have against these people and just call it for what it is. She is nowhere near as talented as Taylor Swift, and neither is Trudeau in comparison when it comes to any form of athleticism or theater. The comparison to someone like Travis Kelce, who's won, 2-3 Super Bowls now? Whether you feel the refs aided in those wins or not, you cannot sit here and tell me that either of these two are comparable to the other two. Okay? And I'm very interested to see on how they try and spin this, like this love story, as if we're all supposed to just forget the time that he spent. I mean, the guy had to step down because of his approval rating was so low that when the election was around the corner, they had to switch gears and put a guy like Mark Carney in place, so that way the Libs had a chance, in which they squeaked one out. But granted, if he was running against someone like Pierre, it would have been a landslide victory. That's how despised he was, even by people who initially voted him in the first place. But then we get to someone that was in his former cabinet, right? We get to somebody like Mark Miller, who says something like this.
A follow-up question, Mr. Ross. It's despicable and is unlawful. Just use the chair's prerogative for 2 seconds to ask a follow-up question, Mr. Ross. It's despicable and is unlawful. I believe the statements made by Mr. Sharkawi were and would be if they were stated again. We don't know why the prosecution chose not to continue with the charges. And perhaps it is to Mr. Fortin's point. I just want to dig in a bit about the concept of good faith, Mr. Ross. In Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Romans, there's other passages, there is clear hatred towards, for example, homosexuals. I don't understand how the concept of good faith could be invoked if someone were literally invoking a passage from, in this case, the Bible, but there are other religious texts that say the same thing, and somehow say that this is good faith. I mean, clearly there are situations in these texts where these statements are hateful. They should not be used to invoke or be a defense, and there should perhaps be discretion for prosecutors to press charges. I just want to understand what your notion of good faith is in this context, where there are clearly passages in religious texts that are clearly hateful.
I don't want to hear a single politician talk about good faith. I don't want to hear a single politician talk about anything when it comes to good faith. We are talking about a government that decriminalizes a very powerful drug that has taken the lives of many Canadians. Go and walk the streets of any major city in this nation and tell me that it's thriving due to policies that these assholes put in place. Then on top of it, let's think about the division caused because of policies being put in place by these assholes. And it's not just one party. I'm talking about them all. So before you get your panties in a bunch and be like, you fucking conservative, you fucking liberal, they're all retards. Okay? They're all retards. And we want to talk about good faith. What happened to the Canadian morale? Why is it so low? Is because when you were proudly waving a Canadian flag, you were called a racist because you enjoy this place. You like this place. It was your home. You grew up here, right? And then you're damn near, in some cases, persecuted. And now preaching the Bible is hateful. This is how insane these people are, and you pay them to talk like this. They extract money from you and again, another group of people that pat themselves on the back and think that they are deserving of a raise. And I cannot stand anybody who can sit here and consider any of these idiots that sit in the House of Commons, they sit in any parliament building and think that they're doing a stand-up job. Even currently with this, I'm going to go off for a little bit here. I'm going to go off, and maybe my rant makes sense, maybe it doesn't make sense, but this is what really chapped my ass recently with this Alberta teacher strike, right? Personally, this is how I feel, okay? Yes, I think that teachers deserve a little more. Yeah, I was never a fan of high school. I didn't like it, but I do think that we should be offering our children a better education, and there should be a little bit more of a process on who's teaching the kids. There shouldn't be bias in the classroom. There shouldn't be a political agenda or this weird fixation of sexualization or sexual content inside of like elementary schools. You know, these kids are far from puberty. I think that there's much better skills that they could be learning, you know, something along the lines like encourage art, encourage, mathematics, encourage these things that will help these kids in the future. And instead of like trying to be like, listen, little Timmy, if you put on a dress, we're going to have to cut your cock off. But God forbid somebody wants to tattoo their 4-year-old. They're deemed an asshole. It's just insanity at this point. It's insanity. And I think it is a level of confusion that none of us are able to comprehend. And it's designed that way. So that way, everybody's just arguing about the most erroneous, like insane bullshit. So that way we're at war and at odds with one another. But when it comes to, this is what pissed me off about the politicians. It's like the teachers are asking for lower class sizes and they're like, well, we'll just pay you more. Just shut up and we'll pay you more. And it's like, no, that's not what they're asking for. They're asking for a class size. Now, these are people that wanted to take this job. And another thing that, now keep in mind, I want to tell you right now before you even go further, it took me a long time to figure out the 3 theirs, okay? And that there's 3 twos and where to use them and how to use them. So before you sit here and be like, Hank, you can shut the fuck up. You're right, and I should, but I won't, and I'm going to continue. And with that being said, when we pay somebody when there's an oil boom and money is spilling into the fucking pockets, like there's so much money being thrown around that we can pay some meth head $120,000 to walk around carrying fucking railroad ties. I think that we can probably dish out some cash to the teachers. Incentivize good people to want to be in there. Unfortunately, we live in a time where we are selfish. Nobody is doing acts of service without thinking about something coming back their way. All right, there. I said it. Can we not agree on that? Can we not agree on that? I think that's very few people are walking this earth doing things with intent of just being a good person without something coming back their way. You might do good deeds to others so that way karma comes back to you. So what are you doing it for? Are you doing it because you want to help that person out, or are you praying to God that karma comes back your way and something good will happen to you? So we're selfish at the end of the day. And when it comes to a monetary sense, yes, pay them a little more. What's it going to hurt? Christ almighty, we pay these dickheads that sit in office hundreds of thousands of fucking dollars to say stupid shit like we should be persecuting somebody who recites a Bible verse. I think we can probably pay the teachers a little more. And I know, wow, what is this liberal bullshit podcast come to? No, I'm just saying that if we're going to pay these dickweeds to put on a suit and tie and spew horse shit, at least for the fucking love of God, let's make something like the job of a teacher desirable enough from others that they're at least going to be incentivized with a monetary sense, right? Hell, I'll even do you one better. If your classroom is, if your classroom has let's say 90% passing, each student has a 90% or more in your class, you get a bonus at the end of the year. So now you're incentivized to get these kids in, keep these kids in the classroom and make them smarter. And then all of a sudden we have a smarter population and we're starting to produce things again. We encourage entrepreneurs. This country does a fantastic job of snuffing out your dreams. And I'll tell you firsthand, I know that because when I was dicking around in high school and I'm thinking of these things, right? And I'm like, I like comedy. I really like comedy. I was watching a ton of stand-up specials. We loved the sketch shows that Dave Chappelle produced, The Chappelle Show. Loved SCTV. Watched Saturday Night Live, all of that. Stand-up specials. We were listening, you get into Chappelle, then Dane Cook, Dane Cook, no, who cares? I was 16 at the time. It was funny to me. But you gradually progress. And then instead of encouraging that, you're told, well, you're never going to be nothing. What are you going to do? You think you're going to go anywhere with that? You think you're going to be anybody by goofing around? Instead of somebody encouraging somebody to be something bigger than what they, have in their mind. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. We stifle these kids. We don't just stifle them. We take a child's dream and we stomp the living shit out of it. It's like watching Stone Cold Steve Austin beat the absolute Christ out of Vince McMahon at a WrestleMania. That level of beating on a child's dreams. And then we have and then it's say they do chase their dreams. Everybody else gets in the fucking way of it. Oh, you really think you're going to be somebody? Shut the fuck up. You're an alcoholic with 4 DUIs. What have you done with your life? You're at a packaging plant. I think anything I do beyond that is going to be much better than what you fucking managed to drum up in this lifetime. Take the back seat, asshole. Why are you calling me for rides? All of a sudden, they shut up. Then the next guy, you got to fucking trudge along. Oh, I don't think that you should do that. Yeah, listen, you've been divorced 6 times, and there isn't enough Listerine in the fucking world to wash out the smell of cock on your breath. Next. And then on top of it, you have these idiots. You have, well, if you say something along those lines, we're going to put you in jail. Oh, God, here we go again. Shut your fucking mouths. But that's what I mean. It's like, and then let's get back to the teachers. I tailed off a little bit there. Let's get back to the teachers. So you have the teachers. They're asking for a specific thing, and then you try and incentivize them with money, and they're just like, whatever. This is it. Then the notwithstanding clause comes into play, and then they just force them back to work. But meanwhile, nothing changes, nothing happens, and these are the people that we elect that are supposed to have our best interest in mind. Meanwhile, what do? You'd be like, hey, maybe you should slow down immigration. It's kind of affecting some things. And I don't say that in a racist way. I'm not trying to do that, but it's just the reality of it is it's all unfolding in front of your eyes. All of the decisions that you've made. Now the chickens have come home to roost. Isn't that something? Everything that everybody was predicting, the hospital systems are overwhelmed. Now we're looking at Alberta Health Services. The nurses, I believe, are looking to strike. The doctors are looking to strike. They're overwhelmed. You can't get a family doctor in this goddamn country because, you know what? They're too full. And then the teachers will be like, the classroom sizes are too big, they're too big. And then on top of it, we have children that cannot speak English, so it slows the rest of the class down. Now we have more retarded children. And let me guess, you're not going to build any more pipelines, right? You don't want to build pipelines, which most of these kids would be laborers on. So what the hell are we doing? What the hell are we? All we're doing is producing idiots that aren't going to go anywhere. You're just going to have them walking around in the streets? No, either two options. Make the classrooms a size that the teachers just want, or you better start fucking building pipelines because we're producing a lot of idiots right now and they need scaffolding jobs. Not that hard to figure out. So which road do you want to take? Well, we got to be conscious of the environment. Shut the fuck up. We have a decision to make. We have a lot of idiots that not everybody's going to be an Amazon worker. Not everybody's going to be packaging shit at an Amazon plant because nobody's going to buy the products that are in there. We need an oil boom and we need it now. Let's get our product to market and have a bunch of idiots with expendable cash to throw around everywhere. Okay? That's what you need. You want to boom the economy? Turn on the taps. Get building pipelines. Start selling the oil. Tell Saudi Arabia to suck your fucking cock. Tell Houston, Texas to bend over because it's coming in dry and we're going to be turning the taps on. We're building pipelines because we have a lot of fucking idiots that aren't getting a proper education that are only going to be good at digging fucking holes. How hard is that to figure out? You would think with a rant like that would get me a seat in office. But I couldn't handle a moron like that. I would tell somebody like Mark Miller says something like that. I'd look at him and be like, fucking blow me. You're going to get fined. Ooh. Oh, no. So the taxpayer money that I'm paid with is now taking back from the taxee, and then what? Getting funneled back into what? Some system? Suck my dick. Fuck you. Blows my mind. But incentive, Am I going insane? I think I am. I think I am. At the end of the day, I'm losing my fucking mind because I see this shit, right? I see this shit. Ooh, excuse me. And maybe my rant afterwards is going to make no sense whatsoever, but these are just things that I've been thinking about recently. Because what are we going to do with a flock of fucking idiots? Secondly, if the flock of idiots can't even speak English, we're really fucked. What are they going to do? You got a whole fleet of fucking kids that can't speak English. Then the rest of it, we're trying to bring them up to speed to speak English. And now the rest of the idiots are still like, they're stuck here. And we're trying to bring them up to like at least level. Let's talk about this in levels. We're trying to get them to level 2, right? And then the other ones are behind because obviously it's going to start at level 0. But if you don't even know English, you're probably 4 or 5 steps behind, right? You're in the basement. The other 2 are on the 2nd floor because at least they can talk, read, write, communicate with others. You know, there's all of that. Probably simple math at some point if you had a decent upbringing, right? You're watching the children's fucking shows and you're learning simple mathematics, your numbers, your ABCs. So now we got to bring up those people to that, and then we got to have them learn English, and that's slowing the classroom down. So now we're looking down the barrel. We're looking down the barrel, right? Level 2. Where's level 2 end up? That is a laborer job. You're going to Fort Mac. You're doing a 14 and 2. You're doing a 14 and 2. Get used to it. 2 weeks of straight hard labor. That's what you're doing because you're never going to be in a position where you're going to be dictating the work that's taking place on site. That's just how it's got to be. That's just how it's got to be. Because you're not going to be the guy. You're going to bring the ticket to the guy that's going to sign off on the work. That's all you're going to do. You're going to be cross-eyed, drooling, and hope to God that you're able to keep some form of, like, whatever it is, fentanyl, opioids, whatever it is, keep that addiction just in the fucking, the happy medium zone. You don't want to go over the board. You don't want to go underboard. You're just a happy medium zone. So that way you can just get through the goddamn workday. Get back to that goddamn motel so you can snort a Percocet and just drift off into what little happiness you have left. And that is your life. That is your life. All thanks to the Alberta education system, not just listening to what teachers are asking for. And I know a lot of people like seen that one video that went viral. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Where was it with? What's it? Oh, here we go. Got it.
For public education for my children. They deserve.
Now, for those just listening, this is a woman who is out here protesting at the Alberta teacher strike outside of the legislative building in Edmonton, Alberta. She has horns, fake horns in her head. She has what seems to be elf ears, and then is wearing contact lenses that are they white out the eyes. They white out the eyes. So this is what we're dealing with here. Anyways, this is what this person has to say.
Right now, they need smaller.
What brought you out today?
I'm here fighting for public education for my children. They deserve so much better than what they're getting right now. They need smaller classes. My kids are neurodivergent, so they deserve extra attention through their schooling, and they're not getting what they need. So we're here fighting for that.
Want to hold up your sign and explain what it means?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in the church. I'm no longer within the church, and I found out that Smith is still in the church. So I contacted my scary little friend, and he said that he was willing to give her my seat instead. So hopefully she'll accept that, and then she can go where she belongs.
I'm here to fight for my students. We need a strong public education system for the future of everybody here. And enough is enough. This is our time. The time is now. Also, revoke Bills 26, 27, and 29. Trans rights are human rights. We shouldn't even be having this discussion. It's 2025.
Why? Again, it doesn't do numbers for the folks down there. The strike by bringing that up and being like, listen, we're looking for smaller classroom sizes. Yeah, and trans kids. okay, enough. It's fucked up enough that you, of all people, are like, enough. I don't need to hear it from you. I don't need to hear it from you. Okay, we're advocating for smaller classroom sizes. We're all on board with that. Don't bring that into it. There's always, this is the problem I have with media on the internet is like this was to invoke, your anger. You specifically went there, sussed out the two people who probably would make inflammatory remarks to get everybody up, which it did. It worked, right? And you have to look at that for what it is. Some woman shows up dressed up like a fucking demon, and it's like demons against the UCP, and it's like, oh God, we do that with everything. We do that with everything. We go to, like, you see the lib protests, and then you always find, like, the weirdo that has his cock hanging out and be like, we got to let the kids be able to get naked, too. And it's like, that's what we post out there. And it, like, then becomes a representation of the whole group, right? For the other people on the other side. And it flip-flops both ways, and we do it to everybody. But it's just like, can we get down to the brass tacks? This is what I mean. Like, guys like me, maybe I shouldn't be making commentary about this because I maybe I don't make any sense. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't know. Okay, that's the thing. I don't know. I'm throwing my 2 cents at the wind for an entertainment purpose. I'm going off. I'm fucking ranting and raving like a jackass, losing my mind in front of a live studio audience who's having a great time tonight. They're having a great time. We're laughing. We're loving. But it annoys me at this point because now you got all these fucking idiots. You get these political commentators online that need this to comment so that way it just keeps it in rotation, while far right extremism is on the rise. And it's like, no, God, is it? Because 10 guys got did push-ups in a park or some shit? Is that what it is? Every time I see that, what's that fucking broad's name again? Rachel Gilmore. It's just frantic bullshit, and the right does it as well. Everybody is everything's so politicized that it's so hard to even just have a little ounce of fun, and that's the problem I'm having with this world. I want to go around and tell some goddamn jokes to people, but everybody's going, well, what are you, a lib, a fucking conservative? I'm neither, because you guys are all faggots. All of you are faggots. Every single person, you show up to a teacher strike and you're not talking, well, it's about my kids and I'm a demon. You're a faggot. That's who you are. Well, I'm here today protesting against the Liberal Party. Faggot. What are you doing? That ain't doing nothing. It's like when you sign an online petition. It does nothing. Thanks for your data. I can't wait to sell it. You know what I mean? Faggot. There, I said it. It's online. I say it on stage too. Come to a show and you can hear it, and you can get tickets at dangercatshop.com. See you at an upcoming show. Merch available on the site. Take care, everybody. This has been a lot of fun. We are back. We are now doing the pod again. That very gruesome month of travel is now over, and I cannot wait to continue this. Good night, everybody.